This is Road Noise episode number 34, a conversation with my son. Hello and thank you for joining me once again for episode 34 of Road Noise, live 1 mile at a time. I'm your host, Michael Blackston. If you're hearing the sound of a rumble under the sound of my voice, that's just the road under me as we drive in the southeast. Although I'm not on a commute this morning, I'm actually headed on kind of a little bit of a road trip, and I've got a guest with me this morning, my son, Noah. Say hello, Noah.
Hello. We're
not on a commute this morning. I had kind of hoped that the first time I took Noah, we would also be on a commute, but time is slow, or work is slowing down for me right now because it's right after Memorial Day, and Memorial Day is a hectic time leading up to it for the monument industry, and then right after it, there's a slowdown and everything has to build back up. So right now I'm in that time, and I've got a little bit more time on my hands, and Noah and I have decided that we're going to go thrift store shopping this afternoon. It's 10:21 in the morning, so I shouldn't say afternoon, it's this morning, but we're going to hit Anderson, South Carolina and all the thrift stores. I've got a couple of things in mind that I'm looking for. Need something to handle the smelly, nasty paints that I keep in the trunk of my car, to close them in and maybe keep some of the smell out. And then I'm also looking for Broadway soundtracks, which is what I always do at thrift stores. And Noah's with me, and we're just going to have a conversation. We thought about what we wanted to talk about. We decided that some sort of a topic that was a deep and penetrating topic really didn't feel right for us. We just wanted to talk and stick microphones in front of our face as we drive, just like our regular conversation. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk this morning. And then Noah is having a hard time getting woken up. I woke him up. I was letting him sleep in, and then I woke him up and threw a microphone in front of his face. So imagine how you'd feel if that were you. And he's not fully awake yet. So
yeah, I don't feel like putting a microphone in front of my face, but I want my dad to be happy, so...
I told him he didn't have to do this. I said, we don't have to do this. We can wait until a different time. You're more awake. But he said, no, let's do this. I really want to do this. So if we didn't have microphones in front of our faces, what would we be talking about? What would you be telling me right now?
Dad, I'm hungry.
Well, yeah, I guess so. That would normally be the number one thing, and normally it would be boat time. But I think we're going to wait till we get to Anderson and sit down and have a meal when we get there.
Yeah, Bojangles sounds good.
Is that what you want?
Yeah, that's what I want.
Okay.
But when we go out thrifting, I'm usually either looking for old video games I can stick into backwards compatibility, or I'm looking for books. Not boring books, cool books.
Last time we went, you bought a Halo book, didn't you? Wasn't that what it was?
Yeah, Halo Ghost of Onyx or something.
Did you ever finish that book?
I'm in the middle of it.
In the middle of it, okay. Thrifting's something that Noah knows I like to do anyway, because when I go thrift shopping, generally I'm on my own when I'm on one of my trips, and I'll pass a thrift store in one of the many small towns around the southeast. But also sometimes on the weekends I'll want to jump into one, and my wife will be with me, and she's just not a shopper. She likes to get in and get out, and I like to look around a thrift store, and so I really don't feel like I really don't feel loose enough to just do that, to just walk around and look and find treasures. Noah's like me in that. He enjoys doing that, so every now and then we'll go thrift store shopping together and spend the day doing that, and I'll take a few bucks and we'll find a few little treasures and stuff we really don't need, and then go from there. You like books?
Yes, I like books. And last time we found a rack that I could store my video games in, but later that night it broke and I cut my foot on a rusty nail.
But I fixed that, though, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
That's right. I screwed it back together, and then we bandaged his foot.
Yes.
So that went well. Hopefully, I'm looking for... There are a couple of things, actually, that I'm looking for. More specifically, when I said I wanted to put my paints into something, I want to... The paints that I use it's called lithochrome, and it's got a real nasty smell. a real chemically smell. And I just don't feel like it's good for me to be driving in an enclosed car lots of hours at a time smelling this lithochrome, and I'm trying to find some sort of container that I can put it in when I'm not using it so that it doesn't just permeate the car. And I don't want to go buy something new because I'm thrifty, and I'm thinking I'm going to try the thrift stores first and see if I can find some sort of container for that. And then also the Broadway soundtracks I'm always looking for. But I'm also looking to see if there's some sort of shelving or shelf and hook system for me to put a platform across the bars of my treadmill so that I can put my laptop on the treadmill while I walk. Because I think it was last episode 33, the work hacks, I talked about using the treadmill, doubling it up as a workspace so that I could do my writing while I was walking. I started looking at it and I thought I had something figured out, but it just didn't work exactly the way I wanted it to. And so now I'm going to try to find something at a thrift store maybe that'll be able to make me do a hybrid and put something together for that.
You know, I'm just over here seeing my dad trying to walk at the same time as putting a laptop on his knees. So it looks like he's some kind of frog human hybrid. And he's writing a new book about frogs.
Well, I wouldn't put it on my knees. That's the whole point. I'm putting it. I want to create a shelf that I can put over the bars that you hold on to.
I know, but at this time,
that you just got the visual of me typing on my knees while I'm walking.
Yes, because we have nothing on that treadmill to set your laptop on.
No, and that's what I'm hoping to find, though. I'm hoping to be able to get something for that. It's the beginning of the summer. This is your second week out of school, too.
Yes.
Yesterday was Memorial Day, and we spent all day. Well, we would have spent all day at home, but we ended up having to go take a kitten to Piedmont, South Carolina, to a family members of ours. Sunday afternoon when we got home from my grandma's house, my wife, who has radar ears when it comes to animals, I would have never heard it. She hears the sound of a kitten across the yard under my car, and she starts going looking under the car, and she can't find it, but we all go over there, and it's there, right? You could hear it, and it was just being very loud and meowing. It was upset. It was stuck under the car somewhere. Kayla and I couldn't figure out a way to get under the car because this car sits kind of low to the ground, but Noah, being 11 and a half, almost 12, was able to shimmy under there and locate where the cat was. It was a little white kitten.
Yeah, it was a little white kitten. It looked like it was under this engine, but it wasn't an engine or this heater. But it was up there, and I tried to push it by its butt to get it out, but it would just hiss at me over and over. And I just didn't want to get scratched because I got scratched on the face like 3 years ago, and still, when I'm about to get scratched by a cat, get flashbacks. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty hard, but by the time I got back from trying to locate a laser pointer, I saw Mom had a kitten, and yay.
What had happened was we sent Noah to find some cat food from the other cats and a laser pointer to see if we could encourage the cat that way to come out from under it, because it was scared, but it was also kind of playing. He was talking about it was playing and hitting at his hands. It was nervous, but it also it felt the compulsion to bat at his hands. So once we found it and we could put an eye on it and see where up in the workings of the car it was, when Noah went in, I decided to get on my back and shimmy under there as best I could. I had to suck in my gut, and I was able to get under there kind of strategically, and I got where I could get right under the cat and was able to push it from the area, from the side of it where its head was facing. I was able to kind of push it gently and back it out the way it came. And what had happened is, I don't know if it gotten chased up there or if it went up there just to feel safe, but it couldn't get down. Kind of like when a cat gets way up high in a tree and then it's afraid to get down. It couldn't find a good foothold purchase, because you could see it a couple of times try to get down, and then it it didn't feel safe, and so it'd crawl back up in there.
So every once in a while, like, it would, like, act like it's about to fall off a high cliff, which I guess to a kitten that far to the ground, looking down and seeing cement and concrete, I wouldn't want to go down and fall either.
It would have been a little bit of a high fall for that kitten, maybe.
Maybe
it might have looked like that. So, but we got it out.
Yeah.
And it was this beautiful little white kitten. My wife estimated 10 to 12 weeks old. It was just the most adorable thing. Noah named it Cloud. You know, they ended up naming it Miss Ava, right?
No.
Okay, Miss Ava is its official name. But Noah named it Cloud because it was white. The only coloration it had, aside from its little pink pads of its paws and its pink nose, which is really giving me the feels right now, thinking about it. The only other coloration, it had a little smudge of black on its, just right on the top of its head, and we thought at first that it was a smudge from under the car. But as it cleaned itself, the smudge never came off, and we realized it was discoloration from its fur. It just had one little gray, dark gray, black smudge at the top of its head, and the rest of it was white. So Noah named it Cloud, and we had a hard time with it, really, kind of that night, Sunday night, because we were getting attached to it. I kept my distance. I stayed in the other part of the house because I didn't want to get too attached to it. We've already got 3 cats, and we just could not keep it ourselves.
It kept trying to, it cried all night almost, because I don't know how long I stayed up that night, because I think I was up till like 1 or 2, because you told me to go to bed at 2, right?
Yeah, I let him stay up till 2.
Well, I stayed up till 2, but all night, like, I was getting on and off Xbox Live, like, watching YouTube, then playing my video games. But during those alterations, I kept on hearing the same scream over and over and over.
It had the best personality. That's one of the reasons it was so hard to want to give this kitten up, because once it realized that we weren't going to try to eat it, and we got it in the living room and started loving on it and playing with it and trying to make it comfortable, and we fed it, and Kayla went out and got it some kitten food and a little temporary litter box. We couldn't let it into the rest of the house because we've got 3 adult cats that we were afraid would hurt it, and we really felt no need to get the kitten all freaked out about these other cats when we knew we were going to give it away. So we left it in the living room all night long. It was not allowed into any of the rest of the house. But it knew when we left that there was more outside that door, and so it would sit there at the door and just meow, meow, and non-stop meow. But it was so sweet because every time it would stop every now and then and maybe curl up to go to sleep, but when you walked in that door, it would run over to you and want to be picked up and want to play. It just had the sweetest personality. But
I had a hard time giving it away.
Yeah, no, I had a hard time giving it away. We all did, but I probably the least, because like I said, Kayla and Noah would play with it Sunday night and on yesterday morning a little bit, but I petted it a little, but I tried to keep my distance because I didn't want it to imprint on me. I didn't want to imprint on it, and I knew we were giving it away. And luckily, it didn't take that much trouble to find a taker. We had a couple of different people who wanted her, and it ended up going to Kayla's sister-in-law, who had been looking for a cat. It turns out a couple of days earlier she had tried to get a kitten, and then that fell through, and she wasn't able to get the kitten she wanted. And so her daughters, when she saw that we had this one available, kind of worked it up, and we surprised her mom by bringing her that kitten. And she just started sending pictures on Facebook last night, said the cat really kind of took to the new home and everything's good. So we're real happy. We found a home for it without having to take it to a shelter, and it'll have a good, loving, forever home.
Yep. I'm just really happy that we took her to a home that would not just put her out on the street. Because there's
Right.
a lot of people who would get sick of her or think she's taking up too much money and then just throw her. So
Yeah, we're big believers in unless you live out in the country where a cat can kind of roam, then a cat needs to be in a house. That's just the way we believe, because we just see roadkill all the time of somebody's sweet little kitten that they let out right in the middle of a busy town. We live right in the middle of town. It's a neighborhood. It's not like we live right on the 4-lane, but 3 blocks away is the 4-lane, and the area where we live is the historic district of Elberton, Georgia. And so there's a lot of cars that come up and down that road.
I know. If you're gonna let a cat out, I mean, at least put up a fence, because that cat will be curious, and if that cat is somehow trained, which they probably will not be, because you can't train a cat.
Actually, you can, but it takes a lot.
It takes a lot. Harder than a dog.
Much harder than dogs, yeah.
You are going to probably get roadkill.
That's true. Okay, so let's talk about the summer, because you've got the entire summer ahead of you, although summers now don't last as long as they did when I was a kid. You know, we used to get almost 3 full months, and it's really closer to 2 months now with the kids, the way the school system works the year, although they do get more time off in the middle of the year. So you've got a couple of months here, and I know you've got youth camp you've got teen camp at the theater. You're going to do the theater camp for 2 weeks, and then you've also got 4-H camp. So there's 3 weeks of camp, although one of them really is, only one of them you'll be away from the house for the entire week. But other than that, you got to fill in time with, I know you're going to play a lot of video games, you're going to do a lot of that stuff, but I'm not, when your mom, your mom works 5 days a week, and I travel a couple of days a week, but when I'm home, what do you have in mind? What would you like to see us do this summer reasonably that we can just kind of get out and have some guy time?
I want to go skydiving into a lake of pterodons and T-Rexes.
You went all redneck there too. I want to go skydive. I don't think you're gonna see the skydiving happening. I want to go skydiving, and my mom and your mom have both put the kibosh on me skydiving. So,
but
yeah, no, but there's a lot of stuff.
Possible. Everything is possible.
That's true.
You can go all Jurassic Park and get go into the mines and find old mosquitoes and then put them into DNA, and you can make an egg of a T-Rex baby.
And we're gonna do all of that in 2 months.
Yes.
We're gonna make a T-Rex baby egg. 2 months.
And then we're gonna go skydiving into a lake that has that T-Rex swimming around.
No, I'm sorry. T-Rex is probably not gonna swim around. Remember, they got little tiny arms.
Yeah.
You're getting to the age now to where we can do kind of more guy stuff. I mean, you're old enough to handle certain things, and so we can kind of get out and have a little more adventurous time. I wouldn't mind doing a little camping. I wouldn't mind doing some canoeing and kayaking. I'd like us to go back out to Indian Rock, but do it by way of the river.
Yeah.
This time. And get some kayaks. I would like to do some trail riding with bikes.
Yeah, I was about to say, you said something about trail riding. That.
Yeah, well, I got that. See, all the things I'm wanting to do require purchases.
Money.
The kayaks I've looked at, single person top riding kayaks, are about $200 a piece. So to get 2 of those, that's $400. A mountain bike, low end, decent mountain bike, is going to be a couple of $100 a piece there. That's low end. So you're looking at a minimum of $800 right there. So I mean, we'll see. There might be some rentals that have to happen though, and I think you can rent mountain bikes. I know you can rent canoes.
Yes.
And stuff like that. So we may have to do some rentals, but I want to do some of that stuff. I want to do some trail, just walking, to walk in nature trails and stuff. And you have an affinity for photography, we found out. So
yes, I'm actually a very good photographer. How we found this out was, what movie were we going to see?
What movie? Well, I think it was it wasn't when we went to see Captain America, was it?
Yeah, I think it was Captain America. We went to see Captain America Civil War, and my mama used her radar again and found a little lizard. Well, she took a picture of it, and I said, I want to take a picture of it. Well, we looked at Mama's and we looked at mine. We found out mine was pretty good. Like, it was like more than a decent photographer, Mama said. So, but
You did really well. You got a really good shot. You got a good eye for composition with photography.
I also want to talk about what else I'm going to do this summer.
Okay, let's go.
What, in a week, next Wednesday, not this Wednesday, next Wednesday, I am going to my church to go into our youth room, and we're doing a lock-in. If you don't know what a lock-in is, we start at 7 p.m. and go to 7 a.m. If you go to sleep, you get pranked, and you don't want to get pranked if you go to my youth group.
Are they bad? Are they bad about pranking?
They have they're strange.
Their kids are all strange. Kids are strange. And sometimes, like me, they don't grow up and they stay strange. I'd prank the crap out of you at a lock-in. I would not stop pranking if I were at a lock-in. I'd be the guy, they'd call me Pranky McPrankerston if I were at a lock-in.
Would you get that old school prank where you put some
finger in the water?
No, yes, that too. Have you ever heard of the one where you put whipped cream on someone's hand
and tickle their nose?
And tickle their nose, and they go to see what happened, and
Yeesh. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I've always been a joker, but actually, I probably wouldn't now. I don't know. Maybe I would. I don't know. Crossing over the line into South Carolina. If you ever get an opportunity to cross over into South Carolina from Georgia over the Savannah River, that's some of the most beautiful scenery you will ever see. Love that. And we just had the dam, the Hartwell Dam to the left, and then over to the right is where they let the water out from the dam, and it's the Savannah River, and you can follow the Savannah River all the way down through Augusta, and it winds around in there past Augusta and into the Atlantic Ocean.
Though
Savannah.
There's probably some parts of the Savannah River you can't go into.
Probably. I'd imagine the Corps of Engineers has some of it cut off.
Yeah. What do you want to talk about now?
Well, there's just
my wonderful hunter technique.
Noah's a really good gamer. Now I have to be careful because I don't want Noah to just constantly play games and want to do nothing but sit there and play video games. But
he's already got that mistake.
Well, no, but you don't though. I mean, you play them when that's really all you have at your disposal, but you're pretty easy to get to go out and do something. I mean, if I were to say,
you got me out here.
Right, and we're just thrift shopping today. If I were to tell you, okay, Noah, video games or geocaching today, which would you rather do?
Geocaching, for sure.
So I know, and I'll explain what geocaching is in a minute for those who don't know exactly what that is, and we're going to do some of that this year too. Noah loves video games and he loves to play, but he would always choose going outdoors and doing something fun outdoors and getting some activity over the video games. And so that's why I don't really worry about it. It's not like he's getting fat and lazy in front of the television. He has that to spend the time when we're not doing something else, and he's really good at it. Yeah. He's got this technique. If you've ever played Halo, there are these characters in the game, these bad guys called hunters, and they're like the ultimate warriors. There's these huge aliens with all kinds of body armor, and they have this huge plasma cannon on one arm.
But their only two weaknesses are the back of the neck and their back.
Their lower back.
And in the newer games, they have the area on the stomach, but it's harder to get to.
Your technique works best by going toward targeting the back.
Yes.
And Noah has this way. I'm not even going to tell you because Noah kind of wants to do a video that kind of tells the technique. Noah has a gamer, not a gamer tag, but a video tag. are you? Real
I am Strange Egyptian Runner.
Strange Egyptian Runner. Strange Egyptian Runner. Yeah, on YouTube.
On YouTube. So if you want to go subscribe to me, just look up Strange Egyptian Runner. I'm going to put up a video soon about that technique. So yeah, I hope you enjoy that if you go and subscribe to me.
By the way, you do know that my daddy is giving us a digital video camera.
Oh, thank the Lord.
He's got one that he doesn't use. He bought, and he said he doesn't use it, and so he said he was going to give it to us. And I told him that was good, because I want to do some stuff. Noah and I are wanting to do a little YouTube video, and because I've got Everything Arts on YouTube, and he's Strange Egyptian Runner on YouTube, and we like to try to do silly stuff and just play around with videos as well. And we want to do some of that this summer. Some videoing. A lot of the stuff that we're going to be doing, like the canoeing and the geocaching.
And I do want to hit 20 subscribers this summer.
I think we can make that happen. We just have to focus on it. We want to do that, some video of all that. Let's talk about geocaching for anybody that doesn't know what geocaching is.
So geocaching is a lot of fun. If you love outdoors in the woods, that's the thing you need to do.
I'm going to turn around here. If you want to know what I'm about to do, I'm making a U-turn. I should have gone straight there at the red light. I want to go to the other end of town first. Go ahead.
Geocaching is where you get out into the woods, or you can just find one and go down to the side of the road. But how do we know it's...
Okay, what happened is years ago, a couple of guys were playing around with GPS technology. When GPS technology first came out and you could get your own... You could enter your own coordinates and upload GPS coordinates, latitude and longitude coordinates, and people had handheld GPS devices. And when all of that first burst on the scene, a guy hid, I don't even know what the history of it, but a guy hid something, laid down what the coordinates, latitude and longitude of where it was, and somebody else found it, and all of a sudden the idea for geocaching was born. And basically what it is it is a treasure hunt. Geocaches are all over the world. And people who are in that community, what you can do is sign up to have a geocaching account, and then you can take now you just do it on your cell phone. I don't even know if they sell those. I mean, I'm sure they sell the little handheld GPSs, but everybody does it with their cell phone. You can get an app for GPS geocaching, and it will track satellites and tell you exactly what your latitude and longitude coordinates are. So basically what you do is you get a list of hidden geocaches on the website www.geocaching.com. That's geocaching.com. And you can get the latitude and longitude coordinates of where this hidden treasure thing is.
Now, some of them are very fast-paced. You can just go to the side of the road.
Real easy.
They're real easy. See, the ones I like to do are either the ones who are easy terrain or hard terrain out in the woods.
Yeah.
But I have a certain kind of out in the woods. Out in the woods geocache I like. It's the ones with steps. Because if there's a step out in the woods, like, it's kind of like, do this to go back to this place.
Like the ones that are multi-cache, where you have to find one
and then
in
go
a series of clues to find the final cache.
And like it says in a note, get this key, but when you get done with using this key, put it back. Mm-hmm. That kind of stuff.
You can get what he's talking about with the easy ones that might be anywhere. We call those urban caches. And they may be hidden at the base of a light post in a parking lot of a restaurant. Those are called parking grabs because you can drive right up to them, make sure nobody's looking, grab it, and go. And what you do, the general idea is that there's nothing of financial value, or rarely anything. There have been a few money caches that have been dropped, and sometimes when someone drops the cache for the first time, they'll put like a $10 bill in it, and the first person to find it gets to get the $10 bill or something. But most of the time, these caches have no value other than you get to make a note that you found it. You sign a little ledger that's inside, a piece of paper with, the date and your call tag. We're stage right when we do it as a group. And then you go on the website when you get back to a computer and you log that you found that one. And then you just gather them up and see how many you can find. And the whole point, the fun in it, and the reward is the search, the hike. Like Noah said, we go out in the woods. We find these on rough terrain out in the middle of the woods.
If I recall, Mama found the one that looked like a bat, and you had to unscrew the bat's head off.
That's right. We did find one that looked like a bat. They'll be disguised. Sometimes they're nothing but a log to sign. Those are called micro caches. When it's nothing but you find it, you sign the log, put it back the way you found it. Then you get some that are bigger, like in ammo boxes are real popular. And those are usually the ones that are more out in the woods, hidden under a log or things like that. And they're waterproof and everything's in a plastic bag. And you put things in them like McDonald's toys, little trinkets, Matchbox cars, and things like that. Some people put geocoins that you can collect. There are things called travel bugs where someone will, when they find it, they'll drop it into that one. And every time you pick up a travel bug, you log it and make a notation so that it can be documented where it's been all over the country, all over the world. And it's just a really neat thing. I'm not really doing it justice giving you all the examples and giving you all the definition of it, but if you're interested in a neat thing to do that can be done urbanly or, like Noah said, out in the woods in a hiking kind of environment, go to geocaching.com, geocaching.com, and it will explain everything. There's a little video that shows it, and then sign up. It's free, and it's something the entire family can do, and it is a great hobby for the entire family or by yourself if you're a loner looking for these little treasure hunts called geocaches. So I love them.
And what we call people without geocaching is
muggles.
If you haven't watched Harry Potter, you wouldn't know what we're talking about.
Muggles,
but if you're a big Harry Potter fan,
you'll know exactly.
You'll know exactly what it is.
Yeah, muggles are non-magic folk in Harry Potter. Muggles are non-geocachers in geocaching.
Into the geocache community.
One of the things, now when you're going and finding the ones out in the hiking, when you're going to find the ones out in the woods and stuff like that, you rarely will run into any muggles. But when you're doing the urban caches and you're out in public, you have to be careful because what you don't want to do is let them know what you're doing. Because sometimes muggles will just go see what you were looking at, find it, and then either remove it or destroy it or vandalize. You part of the fun of this is being almost, I don't want to say a secret society, but just kind of flying under the radar with this treasure hunt type of thing.
Like, we're that one group of people in the war, like orcs against humans. And we're that one society of, like, hybrids that stay under the stuff and raid the other places, like, one by one. That's what we are.
That's right.
We're the secret society of the woods and the park and the parking lots of restaurants and malls.
Yep. Well, we have gone 30 minutes, so over 30 minutes now. So 35 minutes. So we're going to wrap up this episode of Road Noise. I thought it would be fun. I've been promising Noah that I was just going to sit down and let him record an episode of Road Noise with me. He likes to listen to the podcast. And in the last 2 or 3 weeks, I kind of got a little heavier. I've got some heavy content coming up in the Permission series pretty soon. So I wanted to do a few things right at the beginning of the summer, like the work hacks last week, this episode this week. I've got some travel hacks coming up in an episode. I think I might do that one after we get back from Disney World so that I can kind of apply the travel hacks and see how they worked and then report back to you. But I wanted to be kind of light going at the beginning of the summer, and so that's what this was. So Noah was driving with me, and we're going to go thrifting, and if I find any treasures that are worth mentioning, maybe I'll mention them on the next episode, but we're going to have a little fun with that. If you'd like to get in touch with me, here's how you can do it. I've got a voicemail line you can call. That number is 706-408-7456. You can also get in touch with me via email at feedback@michaelblackston.com. I do want to encourage you to go to some of my websites. I've really been working hard in the last few weeks getting all my websites together and then putting them all in a centralized place as well. Of course, you can go to roadnoisepodcast.com just to stream this podcast, but you can also get to this podcast and all of my other content by visiting michaelblackston.com. I'd love for you to go there and let me know what you think. I've worked really hard on getting this hub website together to look good and be streamlined so that everything works well, and all you got to do at the click of a button is get to any of my content. All you got to do is go to michaelblackston.com. If you'd like to watch me and listen to me singing and doing some stuff, you can go to my YouTube page at Everything Arts. Just type in Everything Arts Michael Blackston on YouTube. You'll get there. And also, I don't want you to forget that Noah's YouTube channel is Strange Egyptian Runner. So go there and look at his stuff. There's not a lot on either of our things yet, but hopefully after the summer's over, we'll have quite a bit of stuff, and we'd love for you to subscribe.
There's plenty of things I'm trying to work on my YouTube channel, him as well. So, if you like me, please give feedback to him. Tell him if you'd like me in a future episode of Roid Knows.
Roid Knows. I do that all the time. Roid Knows.
Roid Knows. Roid Knows podcast.
On Road Noise, life 1 mile at a time.
Yes.
Thanks for joining me, sitting in the passenger seat beside me, and I guess you're sitting in Noah's lap because he's sitting in the passenger seat too, as we learn to live life 1 mile at a time.